Something that I've been thinking a lot about lately is the difference between needy energy and protective energy. Because from the outside, I think that they do look really similar. You can be quieter, you might be less available, you might stop texting first, you might stop explaining yourself so much, and you might pull your energy back, or at least seemingly pull your energy back. But internally, the energy can be completely different. And needy energy says, I'm pulling back so you notice me. It's like pulling back to get a reaction versus pulling back to come home to yourself, to come home to God, to not abandon yourself in the process. And when you pull back in a protective way, it's normally the feeling is quite sad. It's just sad but resigned. When you're pulling back from needy energy, the feeling is very anxious. It's very, please notice me, please see me. There's something that you're looking for there. Whereas, like I said, the protective energy is more, I can't handle I can't handle this. I'm so sorry, but I can't handle it. And the difference between the two has made such a profound impact in my life as I have become more mature. Like I would say, this past year when I've been married has been very, very good for my self maturation and just like going through the process of becoming more whole as a person and gaining a lot more self respect, a lot more self regulation. And what I saw at the beginning of myself in my relationship versus now, when I got into a relationship, I was very needy. I would do things for a reaction. I was very anxious to be alone. And that's okay. Like, I don't judge myself for that, but it definitely was not the highest version of myself. Whereas now, I'm very protective over myself, over my own energy, over my wants, my desires. I'm a lot more selfish. And some people might hate that, but I don't care. Like I love to be a good friend. I love to be a good person and do things for people, but not beyond the limit of what I can actually give, right? Not over giving, not being too needy, not doing all that, because then you have to go into this like resentment needy energy thing, which is where you pull back to just get a response. Like I don't like to dip into that area anymore where I feel resentful. And I think that this is something that smart high achieving women really struggle with because we're really good at trying harder, at pushing the limit, at just giving that little bit more, because we think that that is what is required in order to be loved, is to love very hard. Whereas if we loved ourselves fully, we're able to give it in a way that doesn't boomerang, because no one likes like, here's a gift, but then you owe me like $400 later. You know what I mean? Like that's essentially what you're doing when you overgive and then you have this needy energy. You really want to flow from this place of balance, this place of self-protection, and then people are going to hurt you, people are going to wrong you. And when that happens, it's appropriate to respond in a way that says, hey, I need to protect myself. But I think a lot of times when I overgave in the past, and if you identify this, like this is literally like a love letter to a younger version of myself. But if you identify with that, then you probably are reacting things like pulling back because, someone is doing something to you because of something you did, or someone didn't even really do anything, but something is like deeply upsetting and triggering you that's not even, a very big deal at the end of the day. And it requires like self work and inner work to know like where that balance is and where that line is, because it takes some discernment. But like an example is, say, like at the beginning of my marriage, like let's say that my husband, like, he said he wanted a divorce and a fight, and so I would get upset about that. But the truth is, like, I did push for marriage at the beginning. Like I pursued him. That wasn't a good thing for me to do. And so obviously he felt resentful. He felt like I didn't respect him. Like I could go into my whole story, and I it's been really, really complicated. But um yeah, I just, obviously in those moments, like I would just like freak out and I would feel the need to be seen and for him to value me. Whereas now when we get into fights, like there was a time where we like separated and I like walked away from stuff, right? But that was out of my protective energy. I was like, I really can't handle this anymore. Like if you want to go, then go. It was okay, right? So that came from my protective energy. And now I'm at the point where it's like if something happens, I'm just able to take that step back very calmly. I'm not the one reacting anymore. I also fixed the root of the problem where I stopped overgiving. I stepped back. I stepped out of the leadership role, whatever that means. We could go into what that means to me, but stepped out of that role and then kind of just like laid back. And now it's like if something's going wrong, I'm just like, listen, I can't handle this. Like it's a much more calm place, like because I'm centered in myself. Like I know we talk about like masculine and feminine energies a lot on the internet, and I really do believe in that. But I think there's really something good about being able to protect yourself, be masculine to yourself, come home to yourself. So I want to say that like sometimes emotional regulation is not staying calm enough to tolerate something that keeps hurting you. Sometimes emotional regulation is having enough respect to stop reaching so that way you can give from a pure place, have different energy, and be just like more pure. Like the Bible says, protect your heart, for everything you do flows from it. I think I got close. I should have pulled that up. I was literally just pulling that out of my head. It's a popular one. So if I got it wrong, just let me know in the comments. But I think it is very important to protect our hearts. But this video I'm making is just so we really understand. And if you are making this mistake, you understand the difference between needy energy and protective energy. So needy energy is like pulling back to get a response, secretly like monitoring whether someone notices. It's a very masculine energy thing to do something in order to get a result. Like I've found when I do things nowadays, I'm like, I'm doing this because it's what I need to do. I think that actually XYZ might happen. It might go terribly wrong, but you know what? This is what I need to do for me. And that's the energy that I come from. It's the energy that I need to do to protect myself. Trying to earn reassurance, that's a huge one to know it's needy energy. Making your peace dependent on someone else's reactions. Now, don't get me wrong, like we're women, we're not gonna get this perfect, and I don't think we should either. Like I think there's definitely something to be said where it's like I think it's okay to be a little bit needy in a relationship with someone who like really fucks with you. You know what I mean? Like I think that there's something that like you can be a little bit needy. Like that's okay. But we don't want to be like, or I don't want to be the person who's like super needy or like is not able to give space, not able to take a step back, and where my peace is really dependent on someone else's peace, which I'm not there at all now. And I literally just said that and was like, ew, that would be so awful. But that was literally me a year ago. So I don't say that with judgment. It's just like, I think about that now and I go, ew. Protective energy is more like pulling back to regulate yourself, choosing quiet because like chaos feels too crazy. It's like too heavy for you. You got other stuff to do. Giving yourself structure and kind of just letting things reveal themselves, like letting time reveal themselves and really listening to your body and listening to what you need to do and what you can allow and not allow. It really like the other thing about protective energy is like you're not trying to beg anyone. You're not trying to convince anyone. And sometimes I guess the actions might look the same, but the motivation is so different. Like there are so many tutorials online about like, do this to get this person back or do this to blah, 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 to make him love you, to make him chase you. And at the end of the day, like, I don't want to manipulate someone into loving me. Like I would feel weird for the rest of my life because you can just feel that energy. You can feel the crazy energy. And the thing about like relationships too, it's like you want the man to lead. I think you're always going to feel a little bit weird if you feel like you had to force something. Like, I don't know. I'm sure that people come back from it all the time, but it's always going to linger there unless there's like a real shift that happens, right? So why smart women get stuck in needy energy? Achievement identity, I think is a big one. I have my list here. Overfunctioning, trying to solve relationships, thinking if you explain it better that people will understand. Confusing effort with love. I think that's a really big one. Just because you're trying hard doesn't mean that you love someone. Because, this is a big one. My pastor told me this. So men, like in the Bible, right? So it says women like respect your husbands, wives respect your husbands, husbands love your wives, right? So why is that? My pastor was like, why do you think that is, Laura? And I was like, because men read respect as love and women read love as respect, or love as love. Like men need respect in order to feel love. So we're doing all this effort. We're trying to love someone so hard who at the end of the day really just needs respect. needs to feel like they are a leader, need to feel like you respect them and their autonomy, and that reads as love to a man. And so we get stuck in this energy, like loving someone so hard and wondering why they don't love us back. Well, it's because we're not respecting them. And this person, their language is different because they read respect as love. Confusing intensity with intimacy, that's probably a big one, especially if you're just dating someone. There's this really this really good YouTuber, Farine Ash, on YouTube. I freaking love that woman. She talks so much about how if you're in the first few months of a relationship with a guy and it's super intense and like you're already future projecting, there's something wrong with you. You need a lot of healing. And I was like, me. That was me. That might be you too. But that really got me stuck in a needy energy because I was already so invested in someone right away before they really had a chance to prove themselves to me. So I think that high achieving women often treat relationships like a problem to solve instead of, what the way that God designed marriage and relationships, which is we're meant to choose. Like the natural energy is like we are meant to observe the reality and respond to it. We aren't meant to be creating our own reality inside of a relationship. Like of course, like let's say you want to date someone, like you can take the actions of bettering yourself so that the person that you want to date would actually want to date you. You can do things like going on dates, a certain amount of excuse me, I just need a second. A certain amount of dates every week, or a certain amount of swipes, whatever it is, in order to get you to your goal. Like I think that is like just focusing on what you do for a goal, and that's still like a masculine energy. But within the relationship itself, like I think that I am my best self when I'm just being who I am within the relationship and observing it and observing how I feel. I don't like nagging. I don't like yelling. I literally have just learned to, if something is really bothering me and it's not being respected, like to just take a step back and respect that person where they're at. I was going to get into some behavioral psychology stuff, but that's not really feeling like in tune with this video. So what protective energy looks like practically, this is where I'll share like a little bit about what I'm doing right now. So right now I'm fasting, like I'm fasting with food and I'm fasting with my phone. So I'm only eating for like 8 hours of the day for like the next 25 days. Actually, like during the second phase of my cycle, I'm going to expand it to like just do a 12-12 fast. Like for me, I have like a passive eating disorders too. So I don't want to go crazy with my fast. So I just do like, I stick to something solid just so I feel like a little bit hungry and I can pray before and I can feel thankful. But like the book that I'm reading said that for the spiritual fast, you want to pick something that you can stick to. And so I chose to do like an 8-16 fast for the first half of my cycle. Then when my ring tells me that I'm in my luteal phase, then I'm going to go to my 12-12 fast. And then I'm only going on my phone for 1 hour a day for 25 days. Now, when I drive alone, I've been taking my phone with me. When I go to bed at night, like I make sure that my phone is there just in case anything happens to me. Like I'm still making sure that my safety is appropriate. And like even this video, like I'm filming this video on my phone, but like I'm not getting any notifications in. I'm just using it as a camera because this is my camera, but like actually being on my phone, I'm just doing that for an hour a day for the next 25 days. So for me, like the protective energy looks like, for me fasting and trying to get closer with God in this time because I just felt like there was so much constant input that I started, like, I needed to protect my energy. I needed to protect my mind a little bit. And I needed a little bit of a reset. I didn't want to give unlimited access to myself or, like, let my mind wander so much when I'm dysregulated because I'm in a point where, like, something a little bit difficult is happening. So I just want to re-regulate. And this is what works for me. You can try it out. So the key distinction at the end of the day is that needy energy is like organized around like another person and their reactions, while protective energy is like organized around you and yourself and like what you can handle, what you can't handle, and just knowing yourself so that way you don't become resentful. Like we should be looking for the fruits of the spirit when it comes to taking actions. Like we should feel peace, we should feel joy, we should feel love and all of that. Like we shouldn't, if what you were doing was truly love, then you wouldn't feel resentful. You wouldn't feel like XYZ. And if you did and you felt like it wasn't being reciprocated, well then as like a woman, I personally just remove myself from this situation. Now, this doesn't mean forever. I'm not saying people are disposable, right? Um, but just removing myself from the situation that is hurting me, I think is very, very like you have to protect your own heart. So that's perfectly in line with scripture. Like I think we're called to love people, and part of loving people again is like respecting them where they're at, wherever that is. So sometimes the most feminine thing that you can do, like I said, is not chase, not convince, not perform, and not beg to be understood. Sometimes it's becoming like quiet enough to be able to hear God again, hear yourself again. And you know what, as well, like if you are doing like the needy thing now, like if you're doing the needy thing just to get a reaction out of someone, like you need to know how they were treating you like before you took a step back, because sometimes people will make a mistake. No one's perfect. But if someone only is responding to you when you disappear, like this ghosting stuff that I'm hearing about, like so like XYZ, like you're chasing a guy who's just not even like in love with you, girl, like you deserve so much more than that. I say it with so much love. Like you deserve so much more than that. If someone only responds when you disappear, when like that's information for you to know that this person does not really care about you. Could be a guy, could be a friend, could be a blah blah blah. If someone only is there when they want you, and then like when you trigger them, that's the only time where they really like use their words to step up. They probably don't even step up in action. Like that's information for you that that person probably does not belong in your life. This repetitive cycle. Now it's another story. This person treated you so great, and there's like something that happens, and you just need to step back. Like there's I think there's most of the time room for redemption, right? And the Bible actually says that pretty much there's always room for a redemption. Like there's always room for repentance, but we're also not Jesus. Like we're not gonna never leave anyone or never forsake anyone. But like what I'm getting at is where was my point? Like if we pull back and that's the only reason someone's talking to us and they didn't treat us that well before, that's definitely information. So the goal isn't to disappear so someone responds. The goal is return to yourself so you can actually see clearly. You can see things clearly. That's my TED Talk for today. I'm in my farmer's market outfit. Make sure to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment for next time. I will be posting on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And yeah, I also have my website below where I have a lot of free resources. I talk a lot about business stuff on this channel too. So it's mostly business resources because I like to help people with that. But today's was a little bit more about energy and relationships. But the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. I love that quote because I think it's really true. So take with this what you will, because when I fixed my relationship energy, a lot of things in my life got better too.